Good morning, everyone. So, especially for the respected members of the leadership team, colleague, and also fellow educators, thank you for being here today. As I know how busy schools leaders are, so your patience this morning and your presence this morning truly speaks to your commitment to growth, not just for yourself, but for the teachers and the students you lead. So, let me begin with a simple question. When people walk into our school, what do they feel? Do they feel inspired? Do they feel supported? Do they feel challenged to grow? Because I think long after policies are forgotten and meetings end, it is the leadership culture we create that stays with our teachers and also ultimately shapes our student success. Effective leadership is the heartbeat of a successful school. While curriculum, frameworks, and assessment systems are important, they only come alive when guided by strong, purposeful leadership. In our school, leadership influences many aspects of daily school's life. It shapes how confident teachers feel when they try new ideas and innovative teaching strategies. It also affects how safe they feel to ask for help, to seek for feedback, and also to admit challenges. Leadership also plays a major role in how motivated students are to engage in learning and how do clearly everyone in the school community is aligned to share a shared purpose and also common goals. Research reminds us that leadership is second only to classroom teaching in its impact on student learning. That means what we say, what we prioritize, and where we place our attention truly matters. For me, this understanding became real through my experience with Murphy models of instructional leadership. Murphy's model positions schools leaders not just as managers, but as leaders of learning. It focuses on four interconnected dimensions. The first one is developing a clear mission and shared goals, managing and supporting the instructional program, promoting a positive learning climate, and building strong school community partnership. So, what I appreciate most about this model is that it is deeply human. It reminds us that leadership is not about control, it is about influence, trust, and intentional support. So, when I step into my previous leadership roles, I noticed something important, which is teachers were committed and hardworking, but many were working in isolation. There was effort, but not always aligned. Using Murphy's first dimension, we worked together to co-create a clear instructional mission. We agreed on three shared priorities. The first one, we committed to ensuring quality teaching in every classroom, regardless of your level of school of subject. Second, we focus on the consistent use of formative assessment so teachers could better understand student progress and also adjust instruction accordingly. The third one, we prioritize students-centered learning experience that actively engage students and give them a voice in their learning. Because these goals were co-constructed, teachers will feel ownership. Over time, planning meetings became more focused, professional conversation became deeper, and teaching practices became more consistent across the school. That was my first reminder that clarity creates confidence. The second dimension challenged me to rethink of how I use my time. Instead of being consumed by the administrative task, I became more present in the classroom. That mean that I can that This meant that I conducted regular learning walks to observe teaching and learning in action. I engaged in coaching style conversation with teachers that focus on reflection and growth rather than evaluation. I also use students' data intentionally to guide professional development, ensuring that training sessions address real classroom needs rather than the generic topics. At one point, we noticed students struggle with higher order thinking. Rather than placing blame, we focus on the support. Through targeted coaching and shared planning, teachers grew more confident in designing deeper learning tasks. Within 2 terms, classroom observation showed higher students' engagement, and also assessment data reflected meaningful improvement. This enforced a belief I strongly hold. When leaders focus on learning, the learning improves. Murphy reminds us that instructional leader cannot exist without trust. Teachers must feel safe to try, to fail, and to grow. We work intentionally to celebrate effective teaching practices so that good work can recognized and shared across the school. We encourage peer collaboration by creating opportunities for the teachers to plan, observe, and reflect together. We also shifted feedbacks from judgment to growth, helping teachers see feedback as a tool for improvement rather than criticism. Slowly, the cultures changed. Teachers became more reflective, became more collaborative, and more willing to innovate. Staff morale improved, and also so did the students' engagement as well. So, a positive learning climate does not happen by accident, it is shaped by the everyday action of the leaders like us. Finally, we strengthen our connection with parents and also wider community. Clear communication, learning workshop, and also shared expectation help the parents become partners rather than spectators. When the community understands the students or the school's instructional goals, students receive consistent message and their learning accelerates. As I close, I invite you to reflect on your own leadership practice, how visible you are in learning spaces such as classroom, planning meetings, and professional discussion. How often do your conversation with teachers center on teaching and learning rather than administrative tasks? And most importantly, what condition are you intentionally creating to help your teachers feel supported, feel confident, and feel successful? Murphy's model reminds us that instructional leadership is not an extra responsibility, it is the heart of what we do. Thank you for your time, your dedication, and your willingness to lead with purpose. I look forward to continued collaboration, honest conversation, and also shared growth as we work together to shape school where both teachers and students can truly thrive.